the Pope, the authority of the Pope had been steadily rising. They call that the papal primacy. And it rose and rose and rose until by Vatican I in the 1870s, it assumed a extremely exotic high place in the church. The center was supreme, the periphery was out of it. And many bishops felt that their part, their place, their authority had been atrophied, had become stale, and they thought something needed to be done about that. And they were talking not just about their authority as bishops in relation to the Pope, but they were talking about their working together, collegially, as a college. And they were talking also about working bishops with lay people, pastors with their people. The idea of collegiality was more than just a case of Pope and bishops. And they felt the time was, many felt, the time was ripe for some significant changes in that area. And the third big issue, behind the issues, is style, attitude, personality, language. And some have said this is the most important of these three issues. John the 23rd said, talking about how we should phrase doctrine, how the council, suggesting how the council might do it. He said the church must make use of the medicine of mercy rather than severity. Persuade, not demand, showing herself to be loving mother of all, benign, patient, full of mercy and forgiveness. That was him talking to the early council, the early session of the council, asking for something a little bit different than any council before. And it was so different. If you have read anything of earlier councils, you know that they generally put their statements, their decisions, in the form of a canon. And that's not a canon like a gun, but they were sort of like guns. Here, a typical one would be something like this. This council decrees that if anyone says Christ is not one person with two natures hypostatically united, let him be anathema. If you don't like this perception of who Christ is with two natures, then please leave because you are excommunicated. We don't want you around here. Now that was canon. All the councils had canons. So this must be done. If anyone presumes to give a loan to another person and demand interest on it, that person has committed a serious sin, and forgiveness will not be given to that person until he returns the money he has made on his loan, because loans are intrinsically evil. That was the position of the church for 1,600 years. There was some development, you may need to know, in that doctrine. So that sort of thing